This is the Flight ECB-26L-A, an electric bike that's designed to be a little bit more entry level, but offers a solid ride and I guess just really smooth, quiet, and lightweight. So I'm going to jump right into the electric assist part of this bike. So unlike some other electric bikes that have throttle and pedal assist, this one only has pedal assist, which means in order to activate the hub motor right here on the front, you just have to pedal, and it uses a pedalex sensor, which is these little magnets, and as the crank arms go round and round, that sends a signal to the motor to help drive you. So the motor itself is a 250 watt geared hub motor positioned in the front of the bike. In the rear of the bike, we've got a Nexus hub, and I'll talk about that in just a second. The battery here is 24 volt, 9 amp hour, and it's removable. It's kind of in this little canister here. I'll show you how that works. Got the key, just stick it in like that, turn it, and then canister just pops right off. And it's a lithium ion battery, which means it's going to get a lot of charge cycles. It's lightweight, and that's kind of the latest and greatest technology. So solid battery there. Right here in this little white box is a controller. That's the system that basically translates your pedaling signal and makes sure that the battery doesn't get ruined by charging and discharging. And the other cool thing about the battery itself is when you take it off, whether it's on or off the bike, you can charge it. There's just a little rubber piece right here that flips up, and you plug it in to the wall. So very cool. It doesn't get much simpler than the control system on this bike. So there's no LCD unit telling you how fast you're going, how far you've gone, how much battery is remaining, and it's just kind of on. Here, actually, I'll flick the switch down here, and then I'll turn it on. You can see it lights up, and then you basically just pick one of these modes. So eco, normal, or sport, and it starts off on normal. So this is where one of the sort of the questions or the cons come into play. It's really hard to know exactly how much battery power you do have left, and I guess, you know, a lot of electric bikes, they sort of have like a red, yellow, green, and I haven't seen that on this bike. It's just you just kind of ride until you're out of juice, and maybe it stops putting energy in. My commute isn't very far, and so I haven't really had any issues, but that's sort of a question mark as you compare this bike to other bikes. One of the pros that I want to call out is that Nexus internally geared hub in the rear, and so the benefit of this is that you can switch. You don't even have to be pedaling. You can switch gears. There are 8 of them here, and when you do that, this changes gears internally. And one of the big benefits there is that this chain can be super tight. Like, it's not actually changing on a rear cassette. It's all internal. So it keeps it clean, it keeps it quiet, just very efficient. Kind of a neat feature. And I love that this has a little shock built into that front fork, and you can actually adjust the preload here if you want. There's really not that much travel, though, and I guess, you know, the trade-offs here are this is lighter weight than if there was a full fork shock. And I don't know, I guess it just doesn't get in the way as much, but you really don't get that much travel. And, you know, looking at these tires, this is kind of it's almost like a crossover bike. It's a little bit of tread where you could take it off-road if you wanted, but not so much that it's going to be loud or coast inefficiently on the street. So this bike tries to be a lot of things. It's kind of just an sort of entry-level components. Definitely the system itself, if you're a bigger person, if you weigh more than 180 pounds or something, this bike isn't really going to be able to carry you up hills. But because it doesn't have a twist throttle and you're always pedaling, that's actually not as much of a problem. And the motor works pretty well. So the big benefit of the way they've laid it out here is that this bike is balanced. I mean, if you lift it up like right from the middle, look at that. Right from the middle. And it's balanced. And you can feel that when you're riding the bike. It's not like it's rear heavy. In fact, you could mount this on a car rack, the kind that hang off the back of your car. And I think that's a huge benefit that people forget. You know, if you're putting this on the front of a bus, if you're hanging it on your car rack or something like that, this bike's actually going to work. And again, it's super easy to take that battery off, and so it gets even lighter. So let me come back into the components here a little bit. We've got a disc brake on the front. That offers a lot of good stopping power. In the rear, we've got like a band brake. It's actually a strip inside this metal hub here. And it doesn't stop quite as well, but that's kind of standard for a lot of bikes with internal internally geared systems in the rear. Kickstand works really well, solid pedals. So I'd say, oh, and adjustable neck, ergo grips, kill switches on these R-Tech brakes. So if you pull that in, the motor cuts out. So it's, it's a pretty solid bike. It's a good offering, but for what it does, it actually does pretty well, and it feels solid. So I'm gonna hop on this and just show you what it's like to pedal and what it sounds like. So as soon as I start pedaling, you should be able to hear the motor kick in, and just listen for it. Watch how the bike responds. Definitely makes it easier to pedal. I'm going to stop and go back up this little hill here. Yeah, rides pretty well. So that is the Flight ECB-26L. It's balanced, it's pretty efficient, and it offers quite a few features. It doesn't have any lights, there are no fenders, you don't have the speedometer, you don't have the battery capacity indicator, but it's simple. You get on this thing, you turn it on, it works, it's lightweight, and it's got a pretty good battery system. So, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, this could be a good fit. Check out ElectricBikeReview.com for the full written review, more pictures, and to leave comments. I'll see you there.